Holy shitsies. Alright, so today we are doing an all drugstore, all cruelty-free video on the look I'm wearing right now. Didn't really know what look I was going for, and then it turned into a full-blown, smoky, vampy look. Story of my life. The main goal of this video is to show you guys how many cruelty-free brands and products there are at the drugstore, as well as high-end. Before I started researching for this video, I had no idea how many cruelty-free brands there really are. I just want to say right now that at this point in time, I do not use 100% cruelty-free products in all of my videos. I feel like now that I know more about it and know that there are so many products widely available, I'm going to be more aware and conscious of the products that I choose to feature in videos. I'm not saying that I'm going 100% cruelty-free. I think if I didn't do YouTube, it would be a no-brainer for me. But because my whole channel is based on product reviews and Foundation Friday and 15 days of foundation, I don't feel like I'm at a place where I can 100% go cruelty-free on YouTube. But when I am repurchasing products and using products in my everyday life, I am going to be more aware of how I shop. Everything is a personal choice, but at the end of the day, I do believe that your dollar, in a sense, is your vote. I very much believe in harm reduction, so if you can't fully do something at some point, anything that you can do to consume less, I think is a step in the right direction. So before we get into the makeup, I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about cruelty-free, because if you're like me and you're coming into this video with very limited knowledge about this, I just want to share some of the things I learned and some of the resources so that you can form your own opinions and make your own decisions based on that. If you're not interested in hearing the whole spiel, you can just fast forward to this time right here. If you're wondering what brands are or aren't cruelty-free, there are a few different ways to find out. You can check that blog that I linked down below because she does upload it pretty regularly. You can Google it. A lot of the times it'll pop up in Google whether it is or not, and just read other blog posts. PETA's website does list cruelty-free brands, but I just want to say you have to be careful with some of them because it'll say products, and sometimes certain products are cruelty-free, but their overall brand isn't cruelty-free. Anything that has the little bunny stamp on it doesn't mean that every ingredient used to make that product is cruelty-free. So there could still be ingredients used in a product that have been tested on animals. It just means that the end result and the end product wasn't tested on animals. China is really the big thing to look out for because any product that's sold on the Chinese market has to be tested on animals by law in China. So it's kind of an interesting mix of culture. I'm getting a little bit international relations anthropology major on you, but it is interesting when you look at the difference in cultures. So from just a business perspective, I think it's really going to take a change in the Chinese government to make any kind of very significant change because the Chinese market is so freaking huge. All of the huge companies like L'Oreal, Revlon, Estee Lauder, all of these giant companies have such an influence, and if they're not selling in China, they're losing a huge chunk of money. So until the Chinese government changes their laws about animal testing, I think all these huge companies are going to continue to test on animals. With that being said, there are a bunch of cruelty-free brands that are actually umbrellaed under non-cruelty-free companies. For example, It Cosmetics has been cruelty-free since they started, but they recently just got acquired by L'Oreal. Urban Decay, which is cruelty-free, is a subsidiary of L'Oreal. NYX even is owned by L'Oreal. People kind of have two different opinions on that. There's one opinion saying even if a brand is cruelty-free like Urban Decay, if you're purchasing Urban Decay, in the end it goes up to L'Oreal, which isn't a cruelty-free company. But on the other hand, you can say that even though you are in the end supporting L'Oreal, they do massive research and can figure out why one company is doing better. For example, anything that you say on social media, if you love a brand and you love that they're cruelty-free, let them know. If you love a brand that isn't cruelty-free, let them know, because social media teams do share that information with the rest of the team, which goes to other teams, which goes to eventually people higher up who have more of a voice and who can make decisions on behalf of a company. There's people whose sole job is to analyze what aspects of different companies are doing better and why. So that's something that they would look at. So that's kind of the other side of the argument. In this video, I just did brands that are cruelty-free, so they might be owned by L'Oreal like NYX, but the actual brand itself is cruelty-free. I found a couple amazing resources. One of them is Cruelty-Free Kitty, I believe it's called, and she basically has updated lists of cruelty-free brands, drugstore, high-end, vegan, I think too. So I'm gonna leave her blog post down below. And then I also listened to a podcast that was really good at explaining the different perspectives, and it kind of explains the other side of it, which is if we don't test on animals, is it still safe for humans? And since it's 2016, should we be able to find other things to test on other than lives, which my personal belief is we should be able to do that scientifically, and companies might just not have enough push to do that because it is likely a lot more expensive than testing on animals. But anyways, I'm gonna leave that podcast down below. I believe it was from either Stuff You Should Know or Nerdist. Now that I've talked for what feels like 20 minutes, if you wanna see how I got this look, you're in the right place. Just keep watching. All right, feel a little bit out of it because I took a migraine pill this morning. This is all a heat rash, so we can just move on, not a hickey. I'm gonna start with this Oil Control Primer Spray by City Color Cosmetics. A lot of these products are first impressions for me. Actually, like most of them. So I haven't used this yet, but City Color is cruelty-free. I'm not gonna say that about every brand because obviously if it's in this video, it is cruelty-free. It says fresh citrus scent, so this should be interesting. And I'm just gonna use this as a primer. I'm not gonna use any other primer today on my face. Smells kind of like bathroom spray. I do have combination skin, so I get oily in my T-zone a little bit throughout the day. And I want to use a dewy setting spray, so I want to see how it wears with an oil controlling product underneath. So for foundation, you guys know I love trying out new foundations. I do Foundation Friday on my channel every single Friday. So today I'm trying out this one. I've never tried this. This is the e.l.f. Flawless Finish Foundation in the shade Porcelain. The lightest shade of e.l.f. foundations usually tend to be pretty dark on me, so I'm gonna try it without a mixer first just to see, and then if we do need to mix it, both of these are cruelty-free mixers. Manic Dreamtone, which is probably my favorite mixer, and then e.l.f. Pro Foundation Mixer. I feel like this one doesn't give as much coverage. This one I've used for years. I've talked about it on my channel for years. But first, let's try out this guy. Actually, before we do foundation, I am going to spot conceal because I've been doing that lately. I just feel like I have to use way less foundation when I spot conceal. Typically, when I do my Foundation Friday videos, I don't spot conceal with foundation because I want to see how it performs on its own. But since this isn't like a dedicated first impression on a foundation, I'm going to spot conceal today. And I'm using the Wet n Wild Come Correct Celebrity Concealer. This is freaking awesome, you guys. This is in the shade Fair. It's very light, has amazing coverage. I don't like it for under my eyes because it is very thick, but for spot concealing, it's great. And for brushes, I'm using a mix of Morphe, Wet n Wild, and e.l.f. All of these brushes I'm using are cruelty-free. This is the Morphe G38. I love this brush for concealing under my eyes and for spot concealing. This is an awesome brush. I haven't tried mixing this concealer yet with foundations, but I kind of want to because it has pretty damn good coverage and it is lighter. So I feel like it could be a good mixer. If you have pretty good skin to begin with, you obviously wouldn't need to spot conceal first. So now let's go in with this foundation, and it does have a pump, which is exciting. I love how like $6 foundations can put a pump on, but some high-end foundations still don't have a pump. The e.l.f. Acne Fighting Foundation is one of my favorite foundations mixed. I actually just did a whole drugstore acne coverage video where I used that foundation mixed with another one. Actually, both of those foundations that I used were cruelty-free. Oh, here it comes. I can feel it. There we go. So I put about I don't even know, large dime size amount. No, more than that, probably a quarter. I'm going in with the e.l.f. brush that I love for foundation. All the exact brushes I'm using and products are going to be linked down below. I'm just going to start by stippling this all over my face. Hopefully it's light enough. Whoa, this is very yellow toned. I figured it out, guys. I filmed the How I Did My Makeup in High School video yesterday, and when I had on the black wig, I looked super pale again, so I think it's just the hair. Like, I feel like the hair makes me look darker, I don't know. And also I think it's how the camera and the lighting with the hair works, because when you have black hair, whether it's on like Snapchat or a high quality camera, it blows out the rest of the image, so it just makes me look lighter on camera, and I feel like now with this hair, I look darker, so I don't know. This is blending out really nicely. Definitely don't need a second layer now that I have that concealer on, but even on the spots I didn't put concealer, like my chin, it's covering very well. It feels a tiny bit heavier than the e.l.f. Acne Fighting Foundation. Like I can feel foundation on my face right now. I'm hoping this doesn't oxidize, because if this oxidizes, it's definitely going to be too dark. So I did use that whole amount, and I would say it's about high medium coverage. Looking at my forehead, it's not totally full coverage. I think once it sets, it looks a little bit more satin matte. If you're a little bit lighter than I am, this will be too dark, so you'll have to mix in a mixer. So for concealer, I'm going to use the Catrice Liquid Camouflage High Coverage Concealer. I did a full review of this and their All Matte Plus foundation during 15 Days of Foundation. I don't reach for this concealer a whole lot. I think it's good. It's just not my favorite. Tarte Shave Tape, which Tarte is also cruelty-free, it's just not drugstore, is amazeballs. So I'm going to blend this out with that same brush from Morphe. I'm going to set the under eyes with my favorite Physicians Formula Translucent Light Setting Powder. This is the Morphe E7 brush. Setting powder, I'm using the e.l.f. Perfect Finish HD powder. This is the pressed powder version. Pretty sure I just used this one in a video, but I can't remember if I like it or not. Yeah, I don't know why, but I feel like translucent powders, with the exception of a couple, always take away some coverage. I am going to set my whole face today because I'm going to be going in with a dewy setting spray that'll help to bring back some of the dew. I'm probably not going to be reaching for this one again, but that's just me personally. I don't really like translucent powders a whole lot. So now on to brows. I'm going to be using the Ardell Dark Brown Brow Pomeade. I like darker brows with my hair because my roots are a little bit darker. This is an awesome brow pomade. I feel like this is totally underrated. I think this is just as good as the Anastasia brow pomade. This brow just got a little intense, but I'm going to be using product to carve it out a little bit, so it's all good. To set just the front of my brows, because this is a lighter shade, I'm going to be using the Essence Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel. This is in the shade Blondy Brows, so it is lighter. I've never actually used this shade. Ooh, that might be a little too light. That's okay. Then to carve out my brows and prime my eyes, I'm using the NYX eyeshadow base, and I've taken the Morphe E43 brush. Since this is a flat edge, it's just really easy to carve out your brows with this. When you guys are watching this, I will still be in New York, so make sure you follow me on Snapchat, Twitter, Insta if you want to see what's going on. My hair will have also changed, so if you want to see the new hair, putting in tape-in extensions tomorrow in my time. What is this brow hair doing? Get back in line, bro. Now that that's on, let's move on to bronzer. I am very excited to try this. This is Pixi by Petra Beauty Bronzer in the shade Subtly Sun Touched, and this looks like a nice kind of reddish bronzer, which I've been all about lately. Pixi, I guess, is considered drugstore because it's carried at Target, but it is on the pricier end of drugstore. It actually comes with a brush, which feels kind of nice. Nah. I'm gonna use my favorite Wet n Wild brush to contour / bronze. And this has like a screw off lid. I really like the green packaging on Pixi. I've never actually tried any of their beauty products, so this is the first time. I don't know how pigmented this is. Ooh, I like that. I feel like a lot of the product is kicking up, like it is a little bit powdery, but it almost makes it easier to blend because of that. I don't know how I feel about the smell. This is a really nice, more red toned bronzer. Yeah, I like this. If you have pale skin, I think this one could be a winner because I'm really swirling and like building it up to get this kind of pigment. So if you're lighter than I am, you could probably just use a lighter hand. For blush, I'm using the NYX Baked Blush in the shade Chiffon. I used this in my drugstore first impressions video, and I didn't like it then because you had to seriously like swirl your brush to get any kind of product off. But I figured out there's just an overlay over this product when you first get it. So when you first get it, go get a tissue and like wipe off that top layer really well, and then you'll actually get the product underneath. And once you make it to the product, it is way more pigmented, blends easily. I actually really like this blush and the shade. Taking the E53, really pretty like natural shade. So now on to highlight, I'm using the Wet n Wild Illuminating palette in the shade Catwalk Pink. This is one of my favorite drugstore highlighters. It's amazeballs. And my brush that I use to highlight is a Sigma F03. From what I can tell, there are 2 lines from Sigma that are cruelty-free. It says that they have started the process of making all of their brushes cruelty-free. This was a year ago when this post was written. Back then it says their full Sigma Tech line and Sigmax line are all cruelty-free and vegan. So this one is from the Sigmax line, and I'm just swirling the 2 lightest shades. This is very pigmented. Physicians Formula Shimmer Brick is another option. That is my favorite highlight from the drugstore, Natural Nude. It's stunning. Also Essence Snowflake eyeshadow. It's actually an eyeshadow. I've mentioned this like 50 times on my channel, but beautiful highlight. I just wanted to switch it up and use this one because I haven't used this for a while in a video. Now that the foundation's been on for a little bit, I do feel like it's slightly dark. It's not showing up on camera, but when I look in this mirror, it looks a little dark. Before I go on to eyeshadow, I'm going to set my face. I have 2 different options here, both illuminating setting sprays. Hard Candy Sheer Envy Hydrating Primer. This is technically a primer, but I've been using this over my foundation, and it is beautiful. If you want something that is seriously dewy, I talked about this on Snapchat, but honestly this is 50 times better than the Tatcha Luminous Skin Mist. Pretty sure this is under $10. This one is a little bit more pricey. This is the Pixi Glow Mist. Haven't tried this one yet. Because I haven't tried the Pixi, I'm gonna go for this one, but I just wanted to show you guys this one if you want more of an affordable option. This looks like there's some kind of oil. Yeah, it says it has argan oil. Hoping that doesn't break me out. But you can tell it has argan oil because you have to shake it or else the oil will just be sitting at the top. Kind of smells like a hair product to me. Right off the bat, let me tell you, the hard candy one is a lot more dewy. I'm gonna try and use a little bit more of this because I'm not looking that dewy. Looking slightly dewy. Expecting a little bit more dew from that. I don't know, I feel like my forehead looks pretty matte still. I'm gonna take a couple spritzes of the hard candy. I actually changed the top on this because the top mine came with was like clogged for some reason, but it comes with a white top. I'm just gonna do a couple spritzes because this stuff is intense. This one smells like melony. Definitely prefer the scent in this one better. Yeah, this is so much dewier. I don't know if you guys can see that on the forehead, but check out that dew. Hell yeah, I love this stuff. Now that we talked about setting spray for 5 minutes. I also wanted to mention, I forgot, if you need a contour shade and not a bronzer, LA Colors is cruelty free. And I've been liking this shade right here. This is in the light medium palette. I also have the dark medium, no, the medium to deep palette to show you. One of my pans fell out right there. But these are the differences in colors. I'm actually going to be using some of these as eyeshadows today because they have some really nice like orangey brown shades. I think I actually got both of these for 10 bucks on ikatehouse.com. I'll leave a link to ikatehouse below, but they have awesome cheap makeup on there. So to start for the eyeshadow, I'm going to go in with that medium deep palette. I'm going to start out with this peach shade right here and put that into the crease. And take the R39 brush. I think I'm going to go in with this shade right here. Actually, no, I'm going to use this one. I'm just deepening up that crease a little bit. I think I'm going to go in with this Makeup Revolution Unicorns Unite Salvation palette. Very exciting purple metallic box. Haven't used this before, but Makeup Revolution eyeshadows are typically pretty good. You can get Makeup Revolution at Ulta or online and they're very affordable. There's a couple of rows of shimmery shades in here and then a row of matte shades. So I'm actually going to go with that matte black. I'm going to take the E17 brush. And I'm putting this just mostly on the outer V and then kind of blending it inwards. I'm going to use an empty brush to blend this more into the crease, so for now I'm just kind of packing on that color and blending it inward. I'm going to go back in with the 39, so it is, R39 brush, and just blend that black very lightly into the crease. Now for the fun part, I'm going to go in with this NYX pigment. This is the Ultra Pearl Mania in the shade Silver. I don't know if this is more of like a gunmetal or a silver, but we will find out. Hooded lids, man. Gotta blend like 50 times. So I'm gonna put a little bit of this out just in this little plastic thing. And then I'm actually gonna mix in some of that Pixi spray just to get it super metallic and so it's gonna stay on really well without fallout. Ooh, this looks pretty. I'm just gonna put this right on. Oh, hell yeah. Holy shitsies. I'm just gonna bring this right into that black shade. We're gonna have to go back and blend. Don't worry about it not blending into the black right now. May have just found my new favorite shade. This shadow for like prom or something would be beautiful. Good thing about wetting these is that you don't get any fallout and they're gonna stay on and you just get like insane metallic. First I'm gonna go back with the R39 without any product on it and just blend with whatever's left over on the brush into that gray shade. Then I'm just gonna add a tiny dab of the black to blend. Okay, now if there was any part where you feel like the silver faded away a little bit, you can just go back in and add that. Now I'm going to take this Essence Smoky eyeliner in Gray to Meet You. Never put this on my waterline, never use this, so I'm not sure how it's going to go on, but we'll find out. Bring this a little bit below the waterline because we're going to blend shadow down there. Doesn't go on the waterline the best. I'm actually going to use this sponge applicator that comes with the Makeup Forever palette just to smudge out the gray eyeliner with some black eyeshadow. I'm going to go back in with the LA Colors contour palette and I'm going to take that same brown shade that we put in the crease. Ooh, that one had some fallout. Now that we are looking nice and smoky, brush away that fallout. Debating whether I want to use eyeliner or not today. I kind of want to just put on falsies, but I want to show you eyeliner option. I've never tried this one before, but this is the Wet n Wild On Edge Cream Liner. This is a gel liner. I think we're going to use it. I'm just cleaning off my eyebrow brush, but I'm actually going to use that same brush for the eyeliner. Debating whether I want to do a wing or not. Kind of just want to like smudge it and then put on some lashes. Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. I'm not really creating like a defined wing. I'm kind of just smudging it out. This isn't the blackest black. If you want a good cruelty-free eyeliner, Physicians Formula Eye Booster in Ultra Black. That's like my holy grail eyeliner. Make sure you get the ultra black shade though, because there's a black and an ultra black. They look identical, except ultra black is 50 times better. Now we're gonna go in for falsies, and I have to say lash glue for me was the only thing that it was really tricky to find any kind of information about. I tweeted you guys asking if any of you could find information about the Kiss USA brand. On PETA's website, it says that they're a cruelty-free brand, but under products, it only lists nail products. There have been a few other blog posts saying that Kiss lash products are cruelty-free, but there's no sources listed or anything. I tweeted Kiss, and I haven't gotten a response yet. So from what you guys are tweeting me and from what I've read, this is cruelty-free, but please let me know down below if you have any insight onto whether or not the lash products are cruelty-free by Kiss. Another option is the Duo Lash Adhesive. I actually really don't like this lash glue, which is why I'm going to use this one today. This is my favorite drugstore lash glue. I use this almost every time I put on lashes. Duo Lash products are cruelty-free. Their brush-on strip adhesive is a lot better than the tube one, but I actually don't have that because I ran out of it. Before we put on falsies, I'm just going to coat my upper lashes really quick with Wet n Wild Megalength. I usually use this for the bottom lashes, but I don't really care what my lashes look like underneath falsies. I just want them to be black. And for false lashes today, I'm using the Eylure number 121. These are some of my favorite false lashes. They have such a nice like cat-like effect. Love Eylure lashes. The band is a little bit thicker, so some people might not be about that, but I personally like it. I feel like it makes it a lot easier to apply. You can get these at Ulta, and they usually have like a buy one get one free kind of deal on Eylure. While these are drying, I'm gonna put some Wet n Wild Megalength mascara on the bottom lashes. Favorite bottom lash mascara. Lips, I have a few different options I want to show you guys. Wet n Wild just came out with new matte liquid lipsticks, which I kind of want to try, but I don't know. I feel like these colors might be kind of intense. I'm leaning towards this one, but that'll be like a very intense look. Also, Jordana Modern Matte Lipsticks. These are bomb formulas. I've used these for a couple years now since they came out. The shade, what is this? This is totally worn off. I feel like it was called Matte Innocence, but that might be Milani. I'll leave the exact name down below to one of my favorites, but it's the shade right here. It's totally worn off. Or we could go for a more nude shade, which is Catrice 380 Nude Tastic. I haven't tried this one yet. Kind of feeling this, just to like tone down the whole look a little bit. Yeah, I might use this. Oh, this shade is kind of speaking to me though. Okay, I think I'm first gonna do a nude lip just so you guys can see how it looks, and if you're not about like dark vampy colors, you could use this. I'm not gonna use a lip liner. These smell like straight up grape candy or something. This is definitely more of a peachy nude. So here's Catrice Nude Tastic. Now I'm gonna go in for the liquid lips because I'm way too excited. I'm gonna wet this off and go in with this guy because I feel like I can't say no to vampy liquid lipsticks. So this is in the shade Don't Be a Plum Plum. Oh, heck yeah. Since the applicator of this is like a little bit weirdly frayed, it's a little bit tricky to get a super crisp line. This applicator is a little rough. First layer, it looks a little bit streaky. I'll definitely have to go in for a second layer once this dries down a little bit. And this is more of a liquidy formula. So I'm gonna let it dry a tiny bit and then just cover up some of the patches. I feel like it looks most patchy on my upper lip. Alright, so this is the final look. If you guys like this video and it was helpful for you, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Please check out the podcast and the resources that I list down below, because if you're at all curious about this whole thing, it'll just help to clear some things up for you and give two different sides of the coin. If you're new here, make sure you join the Bayrito family by subscribing. It'll notify you every single time I put up a new video. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.